Alright, hello, how's it going? I'm Angus. I'm going to show you how you get some of this high quality 3D Google Maps data and how you can import it into Blender. There's a couple methods for this. The first one I'm going to show is RenderDoc, and the other is a new plugin for Blender. So that might be a second video, but this one will show the RenderDoc method, which is pretty fast. It's a little convoluted to get started, but yeah, I'll just close this and get right into it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to download RenderDoc. You don't want to download the current version. You want to click Other Builds there, and you want to download this one, version 1.16. That's the one that works with this process, and it will be quite useful. The other thing you need to do is download and install this Maps Model importer. So you can do that and you can install it into Blender. It's a little bit convoluted to do, but you just go into Edit, Properties, and then Add-ons. Yeah, I'll show you that when we get into Blender. So yeah, what you want to do to get started is create a new Chrome shortcut, and you want to go into Properties, and you want to change this target to this, and that will allow you to inject into it with RenderDoc. So we can get started. We can open up RenderDoc here, and with RenderDoc what you want to do is go into Settings and enable Inject into Process. So if you haven't done that before, you'll need to close the program and restart it. Then once you've done that, you can click this in File, Inject into Process, and you'll get this window pop up here. Then what you need to do is open that shortcut that you've created. It'll show this white screen, but what you really want is this thing here with the PID. You can put that number in, 76, hit refresh, and then it'll show with the process that's currently ongoing. Click OK, and you'll get these numbers in the top corner of your new Chrome window, and it'll say you're using unsupported command line, blah blah blah, security will suffer. That's because you're grabbing the data. So then you can just open up the location that you want to get the data from. I'm going to look at Abbotsford Convent, go into Satellite and Globe View. I like to turn labels off for this. I don't think you necessarily have to, but I find it can interfere with it sometimes. So you press Shift and Control to orient yourself in Google Maps, and you see the closer you go in, the higher resolution things will be. So you want to be pretty close in, and then basically the main thing you want to do is grab data by pressing F12, but that happens at a certain point. So you want to change the capture after delay to 1 second, because what you need to do is move around, and that will sort of force Google to reload data, and as that's happening, RenderDoc will grab that data that's being reloaded. So you press F12 and while you're moving, and it will capture that data. So you can see we've got one capture saved after pressing F12. And you go into RenderDoc, you can double click on this. If you want to check something, you go into Textured View, and you can go through these color passes, and you can see if you go at the start, there'll be only a little bit, and further on, you'll get more and more building up. It's all upside down because it's like computers render stuff. But yeah, then you can go save on this one, give it a name, Abbotsford, let's say, save that in a location you'll remember. It's going to be quite big. This one's 86.2 megabytes, so you might want to delete them after you've used them. Then you can open up Blender. Just go General, press A to grab everything, and then delete because you don't need any of those boxes or cameras. So to set up the Maps Model importer, you need to go into Preferences, then click Install and find the thing there, the zip file. You don't have to open the zip file or anything, it's fine. Once you do that, you can go into File and you'll have this Google Maps capture.rdc recorded with RenderDoc. That's the thing you need to click on to install, to import the data you've got. You want to change max blocks to -1. If it's on 1, it'll only load in a couple of blocks, a couple of meshes. So -1 won't limit the amount it can import. It might take a while to load, but that's because it's 82 megabyte file, so it's going to take a while to import, but just be patient, it should import. Yep, so now everything's loaded in. Everything's going to be grey initially. That's just because you're on clay mode. You need to go into viewport shading, rendered mode, and it'll bring in the textures. Yeah, so that's how you do that. Import the Google Maps data into Blender using RenderDoc method. One thing to note about the RenderDoc method is that this data is not scaled, so you will need to find, say, something like this, like a tennis court, and you can measure from one side to the other, and then rescale that. Yeah, another thing you can do is click on one of these, press A, you'll grab all of them, Command J or Control J, and it will join all of the meshes together. It's just a bit cleaner for when you bring it into another program. Yeah. Thanks for watching.